It is the year 2026, and the geopolitical landscape of the Middle East is more volatile than ever before. In the narrow, strategically vital waters of the Strait of Hormuz and across the rugged, jagged peaks of the Zagros Mountains, a familiar shadow looms over the battlefield. It is a silhouette that has been declared obsolete a dozen times, a machine that critics have tried to send to the boneyard for decades, and yet it remains the most feared close air support platform in history. We are talking about the Fairchild Republic A-10 Thunderbolt II, affectionately known to its pilots and the troops on the ground as the Warthog. Today, we are diving deep into the technical reality of why, even in a modern conflict with a sophisticated adversary like Iran, the Warthog isn't just a relic of the past, but an unstoppable force of nature. When you hear that iconic thunder of the 30mm GAU-8 Avenger Gatling gun, you aren't just hearing a weapon, you are hearing the sound of tactical dominance. To understand why the A-10 remains a nightmare for Iranian planners, we have to look at the sheer engineering brutality of the aircraft. Most modern fighter jets are built for speed and stealth, utilizing fragile composite materials that can be compromised by a single well-placed heavy machine gun round. The A-10 was built with a completely different philosophy. It is effectively a flying tank designed around a titanium bathtub that weighs over 1,200 pounds. This armored cockpit protects the pilot from direct hits from armor-piercing and high-explosive projectiles up to 23 millimeters. In a conflict with Iran, this is critical because the Iranian military relies heavily on the Zu-23-2 anti-aircraft gun and other rapid-fire kinetic systems. While these weapons might shred a multi-billion-dollar stealth fighter, the Warthog is designed to eat that fire and keep flying. The survivability of the Warthog goes far beyond just the armor. The aircraft features extreme redundancy that is unheard of in modern aviation. It has two hydraulic systems backed up by a completely manual flight control system. If the hydraulics are severed by an Iranian Misag-3 shoulder-fired missile, the pilot can still flip a switch and fly the plane using nothing but old-fashioned cables and pulleys. This manual reversion mode has saved countless pilots in the past and remains a cornerstone of the aircraft's design in 2026. Furthermore, the engines are mounted high and wide, away from the fuselage. This serves two technical purposes. First, it allows the aircraft to operate from improvised dirt runways that would destroy the sensitive engines of an F-16 or F-35. Second, it masks the heat signature from ground-based infrared sensors. By placing the vertical stabilizers between the engine exhaust and the ground, the A-10 makes it incredibly difficult for heat-seeking missiles to get a solid lock on. Now let's talk about the primary reason the Iran can't stop it narrative exists: the GAU-8 Avenger. This isn't just a gun attached to a plane. The A-10 is a gun with a plane built around it. The 7-barrel Gatling gun fires 30mm rounds at a rate of nearly 4,000 rounds per minute. In a scenario involving the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, or IRGC, this weapon is devastating. Iran's defensive strategy often involves the use of high-speed boat swarms in the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman. These small, fast-moving vessels are designed to overwhelm large destroyers through sheer numbers. However, they have no defense against the A-10. The Warthog can loiter over the battlefield for hours, picking off these boat swarms with surgical precision. The PGU-14 armor-piercing incendiary rounds, which utilize a depleted uranium core, can penetrate the hulls of these vessels and destroy their engines in a single burst. For an Iranian commander, trying to stop an A-10 with a boat swarm is like trying to stop a chainsaw with a piece of paper. As we move into the more technical aspects of the 2026 conflict, we have to address the elephant in the room: Iran's sophisticated Integrated Air Defense System, or IADS. Over the last decade, Tehran has invested heavily in systems like the Russian S-300 and their domestic masterpiece, the Bavar 373. These systems utilize the Sayyad-4 missile, which boasts a range of over 200 kilometers and the ability to track multiple targets simultaneously. On paper, a slow-moving A-10 should be an easy target for a Mach 5 interceptor missile. But warfare isn't fought on paper. The A-10 utilizes a tactic known as terrain masking. Because it is designed to fly at extremely low altitudes, often just 50 to 100 feet above the ground, it can disappear into the radar clutter created by the mountainous terrain of the Iran-Iraq border or the coastal cliffs of the south. The massive radar arrays of the Bavar 373 are designed to look up into the sky at high-altitude targets. They struggle to filter out the signal of a plane hugging the deck and weaving through canyons. Furthermore, the 2026 version of the Warthog, the A-10C, is fully integrated into the modern digital battlefield. It carries the AN/ALQ-184 electronic countermeasures pod, which is capable of jamming and deceiving the very radars that guide the Sayyad missiles. This pod uses digital radio frequency memory technology to capture an incoming radar signal, manipulate it, and send it back to the enemy, creating a false image of the aircraft's position. While the Iranian operators see a ghost on their screens, the A-10 is already miles away, lining up its next attack run. The aircraft also utilizes the ALE 50-tow decoy system. If a missile does manage to get a lock and launch, the pilot can deploy a decoy that is towed behind the aircraft. The decoy emits a massive electronic signature, making it a much more attractive target for the incoming missile than the plane itself. In the high-stakes game of electronic cat and mouse, the Warthog has more lives than people realize. Another critical factor in the A-10's dominance is the Scorpion helmet-mounted display. In the past, an A-10 pilot had to manually align the aircraft with a target to designate it. Today, the pilot simply has to look at an Iranian tank, a mobile missile launcher, or a coastal battery, and the sensors on the aircraft automatically lock on. This allows for incredibly fast target acquisition in a high-intensity combat environment. When combined with the Maverick missile or the JDAM precision-guided bombs, the A-10 can take out high-value Iranian targets from a distance before they even know they are being hunted. This integration with Joint All-Domain Command and Control, or JADC2, means that an F-35 flying miles away can identify a target and send the coordinates directly to the A-10's heads-up display. The F-35 provides the stealth and the eyes, while the A-10 provides the heavy-duty firepower and the finishing blow. The Iranian military also relies on a strategy of asymmetric warfare, utilizing mobile launchers for their Fateh 110 and Zulfiqar ballistic missiles. These launchers are often hidden in civilian infrastructure or moved rapidly along coastal roads to avoid detection. This is where the A-10's loitering capability becomes a game-changer. Unlike a supersonic jet that has to refuel every hour, the A-10 can stay over a target area for an extended period, waiting for the enemy to show themselves. Its high-bypass turbofan engines are incredibly fuel-efficient at low altitudes. If an Iranian missile crew attempts to set up a launch, the Warthog is already there, circling in the clouds, ready to rain down 30mm fire before the missile can even be fueled. This persistent presence creates a psychological pressure that is just as effective as the physical damage the aircraft inflicts. We must also consider the environment of the Persian Gulf itself. The humidity and salt air are brutal on sensitive aircraft. The A-10, however, was designed for the mud and the grit. Its simple, rugged airframe is easy to maintain even in forward-deployed locations with minimal support. In a full-scale conflict, the U.S. would likely operate out of improvised bases or damaged airfields where a more delicate jet would be grounded. The Warthog's wide-set landing gear and low-pressure tires allow it to take off from grass, gravel, or cracked concrete. This means that even if Iran launches a barrage of ballistic missiles at major air bases in the region, the A-10 fleet can be dispersed to hidden locations, remaining operational and ready to strike back. You cannot stop what you cannot find, and you cannot ground what doesn't need a perfect runway. There is a certain irony in the fact that the most analog plane in the U.S. inventory is the one the Iran IADS is least prepared for. Most modern air defense systems are optimized to kill fast, high-flying, stealthy targets. They are programmed to recognize specific flight profiles. The A-10 flies so slow that it often falls outside the parameters of what an automated fire control radar considers a threat. To a computer, an A-10 hugging a ridgeline might look more like a slow-moving helicopter or even ground clutter. This technological mismatch is a recurring theme in military history, where an older, simpler system finds a gap in the armor of a high-tech opponent. The Warthog isn't just surviving in 2026, it is exploiting the very advancements that its enemies have relied on. In conclusion, a 10 Warthog in action against a sophisticated adversary like Iran is a masterclass in specialized warfare. It is not a platform meant to fight alone. It doesn't need to win a dogfight against an Iranian F-14 Tomcat or dodge a long-range interceptor in the stratosphere. Its job is to own the bottom 1,000 feet of the sky, to protect the troops, to smash the armor, and to clear the waves. With its titanium shield, its redundant systems, its advanced electronic warfare suite, and the most powerful gun ever mounted on an airplane, it remains an apex predator. The Iranian military has many impressive systems, and they are a formidable force, but they are built to fight a different kind of war. They are built to fight the ghost in the machine, not the 300-mile-an-hour tank that refuses to die. As long as there are targets on the ground and a need for devastating, reliable firepower, the Warthog will continue to fly, reminding everyone that sometimes the old ways are still the best ways. The roar of the GAU-8 is the ultimate proof that in the heat of battle, technology is no substitute for raw, unadulterated power and the will to survive. The A-10 Thunderbolt II is a legend for a reason, and in the year 2026, that legend is as dangerous as it has ever been. Write your tactical analysis in the comments. We'll see you in the next deep dive. Stay sharp.